let me introduce you to a skill known as anticipation, a sixth sense within pickleball that can give you instantaneous results. If you don't know what it is, anticipation is the ability to predict what type of shots your opponents are going to use in advance. With this information, you can better prepare yourself for anything your opponents throw at you. And guys, this isn't something that only super advanced players can utilize. Players of any level can develop this skill and use it to take their game to new heights. While mastering technique and acquiring feel will bring you success on a long-term scale, anticipation is something that can make you better immediately. So let's get into it. Hey guys, Connor here with Enhanced Pickleball. And the first thing we're gonna look at today is how to anticipate hard drives and speed ups when you're at the kitchen. Looking at this first point, I want to stop it right here. Notice how you can tell by Pickleball's take back in position that he's gonna use a drive. He hasn't even hit the ball, but his arm's way farther back than it would be on a drop. Ben Johns clearly saw this coming because before the ball even crosses the net, he already has his paddle up prepared to defend. Because of this, he's able to aggressively place the ball at Adam Stone's right hip. Had Ben not have anticipated this shot, he may not have been ready and Adam would have been in the perfect position to capitalize. After this shot, Ben anticipates that he's about to get into a fast hands battle and makes sure that his paddle is up and ready for the next shot. Remember, anticipation isn't just a feeling you get in your gut. It's about watching your opponents and understanding their options and tendencies. On this next point, we have a very similar situation on the third shot. Pickleball takes a huge backswing, indicating that he's about to use a drive. Again, Ben sees this one coming and has his paddle up in a good ready position. Because he's ready, he's able to use hard roll volleys to try and keep his opponents back. But once they make it in, the point turns into a fast hands battle. If you're in the 3.0 to 4.0 range, then you can learn a lot from this quick hands exchange. When you're in a fast hands battle, rule number one is to always have your paddle up in a good ready position. This ensures that you're ready for any of the harder shots that they blast at you. If they end up resetting the ball into the kitchen, you'll have enough time to bring your paddle down. So always keep your paddle up here so that you're in the best position to react. Both teams did this very well in this point, but in the end, the Johns brothers get the upper hand. In this situation, it's not super clear as to whether Ben's opponent is about to use a dink or a speed up. But as soon as Ben notices that he's going to use a speed up, he immediately prepares his paddle for the counterattack. By anticipating this, Ben gets the split-second advantage that he needs to win the point. All right, guys. Now let's get into how to anticipate whether or not you hit a good enough third shot drop or reset to make your way into the kitchen. One way players mess up their positioning is they don't move forward off of a good drop, or they do move forward off of a bad drop. After you hit your drop or reset, you should immediately identify whether it's good, bad, or okay. If it's good, you move forward and try to get to the kitchen. If it's okay, you go to the transition zone. If it's bad, you should stay back. In this point, you can see that Ben was looking to move forward off of his third shot, but quickly realized it wasn't good enough to come in off of. He stopped his forward momentum and retreated immediately after noticing that his drop was too high. Ben and his brother stay in a defensive position until they hit a good enough drop to move in off of. This model is simplistic and you should adjust it for your ability, but just know that your positioning after the third shot is arguably just as important as the drop itself. Here we have Colin John serving and hitting his third shot. The drop he hits is in that okay range. As you can see, Adam Stone's reaching over the kitchen, but it looks like he might be using a roll volley to keep Colin back. Colin moves to the transition zone, aiming to hit a reset, knowing that his drop wasn't good enough to move all the way into the kitchen, but that it wasn't bad enough to where he should have stayed back. He ends up hitting a good reset, which allows him and his brother to move in to where they can take control of the point. Notice how on this point, Ben's third shot is so good that Pickleball is barely able to take it out of the air. Because of this, Ben's able to move straight to the kitchen. As you're probably realizing, anticipation's all about watching your opponents and predicting what they're gonna do based on their options. All right, guys, we're finally to the most fun part of the video. Let's get into how to anticipate a good time to go for the Ernie. The key determinant to your success on the Ernie will be anticipating whether or not your opponent will hit you the right shot that you can use this play on. It needs to be slow and close to the sideline or else you won't be able to reach it. The number one opportunity for this shot is if you're in a dinking situation and the person in front of you tries to go down the line. Generally, a good time to go for the Ernie is if they're off balance or look like they won't be able to hit the shot cross court. In this situation, Simone Jardim uses a push dink that puts her opponent directly in front of her in a defensive position. As you can see, Simone recognizes that there's a good chance her opponent might pop up her dink down the line. With this in mind, she creeps around the kitchen to go for the Ernie. In this example, we have Steve Deacon working the point against Deckle Bar. Steve and his partner Matt Wright continuously hit deeper dinks around the kitchen line. These push dinks are an amazing way to lure your opponents into hitting a pop-up to where you can use the Ernie. Notice how Steve keeps moving outside of the court looking for the Ernie. He's trying to anticipate when Deckle Bar will hit a pop-up close enough to the sideline where he can pounce. The way Steve's anticipating this is by focusing on his opponent's footwork. Is he off balance, falling backwards, or in a position where he can't go cross court? And here, he finally gets it. Boom. His active footwork and push dinks allow him to pull off the Ernie. And if you guys want to learn 5 devastating plays that make Ben John so good, watch this.